Welcome everyone to the Township Council Workshop, Monday, May 8th, 2023. This meeting is now called to order. Councilwoman Hablitz, please lead us in the flag salute. And to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Mrs. Kraus, please read the statement of public notice.
Take notice that adequate notice of this meeting has been provided in accordance with NJSA 10:4-8 and NJSA 10:4-10 as follows. The notice of the meeting was prominently posted on the bulletin board at the municipal building located at 225 Main Street, Little Falls, New Jersey on January 5th, 2023. Copy of the notice was mailed to the North Jersey Herald and News and the Record on the same date. Additionally, a copy of the notice was filed in the office of the township clerk on said date. A link and a telephone number to join the meeting virtually can be accessed on the township website at www.lfnj.com. Electronic provisions have been established for the public to participate during the public comment portion of the meeting.
Thank you. At this time, Mrs. Kraus, call the roll.
Councilmember Patel,
Present.
Councilmember Murphy,
Present.
Councilmember Hablitz,
Present.
Councilmember Vanchery,
Present.
Council President Scoba.
Present. Mayor Daniel.
Thank you, Council President. This evening, I have a couple of items and a couple of proclamations that I would like to read into the record prior to my items to be discussed. The very first of which this evening is a Mental Health Awareness Month proclamation. And with May upon us and mental health issues on the rise, and especially with summer upon us and the warmer weather approaching, mental health issues are something that are a constant concern for those, and a constant issue that I know our police are constantly being trained in, an issue that us as public officials are sometimes called upon to deal with, and an issue that just the general public needs to sometimes deal with. And with mental health issues on the rise, and May being Mental Health Awareness Month, I would like to read a proclamation in support of mental health awareness into the record. And it reads, whereas mental health includes our emotional, psychological, and social well-being, which can affect how we think, feel, and act. And whereas 1 in 5 adults experiences mental health problems in any given year, and such problems can contribute to onset of mental illness. And whereas 1 in 25 individuals live with mental illness, such as major depression, bipolar disorder, or schizophrenia. And whereas approximately 1/2 of chronic mental illness begins by the age of 14 and 3/4 by age 24. And whereas long delays, sometimes decades long, often occur between the time symptoms first appear and when individuals get help. And whereas early identification and treatment can make a profound difference in successful management of mental illness and recovery. And whereas it is important to maintain mental health and learn the symptoms of mental illness to get help when it is needed. And whereas every citizen and community can make a difference in helping end the silence and stigma that for too long has surrounded mental illness and discouraged people from getting help. And whereas public education and civic activities can encourage mental health and improve the lives of individuals and families affected by mental illness. Now therefore be it resolved that I, Mayor James Belford Damiano, Mayor of the Township of Little Falls, do hereby proclaim the month of May 2023 as Mental Health Awareness Month in the Township of Little Falls, to increase public understanding of the importance of mental health and to promote identification and treatment of mental illness. We also have this evening a proclamation in support of Lyme Disease Awareness Month, another issue that affects many individuals' health, which after just something so simple as a bite from a tick, something that happens to so many people, can have such detrimental effects on so many individuals long-term on their health. And it reads, whereas May is a time to help bring awareness to Lyme disease and tick-borne disease. And whereas Lyme disease is a bacterial infection brought on mostly by an infected deer tick with symptoms that may include headache, fatigue, skin rashes, and fever. And whereas the Center for Disease Control and Prevention estimates that 476,000 people are diagnosed with the disease in the U.S. each year. Now therefore be it resolved that I, Mayor James Belford Damiano, on behalf of the Little Falls Township Council, do hereby proclaim May 2023 as Lyme Disease Awareness Month in the Township of Little Falls. And Council President, the third item that I have this evening on the top of the agenda is for my appointment of Carol Miller to the Little Falls Library Board for a 5-year term, which would expire on May 31st, 2028, with the advice and consent of this council.
Thank you, Mayor. Would you like to talk about the new portal that was been set up?
Yes, I can absolutely do that, and I can certainly begin to do that now. It is certainly something that I am very excited and happy about. And I can, if you give me 1 second, I will share my screen in order to do that. And if you bear with me, we will get that up on the screen for everyone to see. All right, so what I'm gonna have everybody. All right, now that we have the screen shared here, what everybody can do is I'm going to bring everybody to the lfnj.com website here to just the regular homepage. And as everybody's on this page, and what everybody will be able to see is as you scroll down to the bottom of the page here, under our popular links, there is a new field that everyone can click on under the complaint portal. And anyone that has any sort of issue that they want to log a complaint about in the municipality can do so by clicking on this complaint portal right here. Whether it be myself, a council member, an employee, or anybody from the public can use this portal right here to log a complaint, which will then be directed to the appropriate department within the municipality. And from there, it will be addressed. This will allow us to see the date that it is logged, the time in which it is addressed and completed, and allow us to monitor all of the concerns that anyone has here within the municipality. So by clicking here on this complaint portal, it's going to load this page here. There's still some updates that are going to be made to this here. And the very first screen that you will be brought to will allow you to choose the topic and add the details of the complaint that need to be added. Now, I do want to state, as always, if there is a true emergency, as always, please dial 911 if it is a true emergency or medical emergency. If it is a police-related emergency that is non-emergent but requires police assistance, always dial the police non-emergency number at 973-256-0200. However, if it is something that, again, you are looking for some assistance on that is non-emergent, this is where we want you to go and encourage you to go to log a concern or complaint. And you'll see here the first drop-down menu that you have allows you to pick the department from which you want to log a complaint. So for this one, for example, I am going to go to our Public Works Department, and I am going to log a pothole complaint that I have about a pothole in front of the municipal building right here where we sit today. So I'm going to log a pothole complaint just for an example here today. And I am going to, just for today, put this in, and I'm going to log a, there is a pothole in front of, I'll say my home, but we'll use the address here at the municipal building. And if it was in front of your home, you could list your home or your business or whichever location that you are at. And to help us narrow it down, if you wanted to put your address here, you could, but the next best way to do this is if you know the address that you're in front of, you can choose an exact location, and you can use this map on the next screen right here and really allow it to narrow it down to the exact location that you're at 225 Main Street, which is right where we are. And it's going to log us right in here to the exact location that we are currently. And you'll see it will then allow us to move on to the very next field. And again, there are a whole bunch of options under here that you can choose from in this drop-down menu. And you can scroll through those at your leisure, whether, again, it be a issue or complaint related to the building department, whether it be an issue with a neighboring property, whether it be an issue about a dead deer somewhere in town, and what have you. And I'll go back up there in just a minute and go through some of the other examples, but I'm just going to run through this one time first. You are then brought to a contact information field. And this is where you can put in your information so that we can contact you if there is something that needs to be followed up with. And you put in your name, your email, your phone number, and you put your mobile here. You don't need to put it in the mobile cell phone area, and you can put in your address here. And your zip. It then allows you to review all the information that you've put in, confirm that you are not a robot, and you can submit your requests. You can print the confirmation that you've done it, or you can create another request. Once that is in, our assistant business administrator will immediately receive all of the information that you have put in, and he can then forward it off to the appropriate department that has now the ability to address that concern. Again, if you put in all of your email and phone information and there is something that you would like to have addressed, or you're requesting that a call or something to the sort be followed up with, you can certainly add that in your comments and we can address that concern and follow up with you if you would like. And just to give a couple of other examples, you'll see here the options that you have are the clerk's office, the code enforcement, construction, fire prevention, health, land use, police, public works, and township manager. And over the course of the next several weeks, some of these department and the filter options here may be narrowed, they may be expanded. We may be tweaking this over the next couple of weeks as we find that some of these options may be better suited, tweaked a little bit differently, as well as the issue and comment types may be tweaked slightly over the next several weeks as we find that more categories may be needed or less categories may be needed, or they may need to be moved a little bit. So this will be a work in progress over the next couple of weeks as we find that there may be better options as we proceed. But just to give you another example, under the code enforcement, if you want to report an abandoned vehicle, building address missing, a dumpster's not covered, grass maintenance violations, ground surface hazards, property maintenance issues, quality of life violations, rodents, snow or ice covered sidewalks, tree issues, and things of that sort. Under our construction office, you have working without permits. Under fire prevention, again, you have vacant, abandoned and vacant buildings and occupancy limitations. If you go through these categories and you say, I'm not sure exactly what category my complaint falls under, but I do want to register a complaint, do not fear. There is a category for that. If you go under our township manager, we do have a general, all other complaints, and you can certainly leave your complaint right there. So if there is a category that you feel may actually work better for you in particular, or something that you think may be a concern that a lot of people may have, as you type your comments here, feel free to also leave a comment that this may be a good category to also add to our system. And if it's something that we do see a handful of, we could also potentially add that as a category moving forward. So we're certainly also open to recommendations to this. Again, this will be a work in progress. So do bear with us and work with us as we proceed and as we move forward in this process. So do feel free again to use this general, all other complaints as you leave us comments and recommendations moving forward, because we are going to be working on this moving forward. We want this to be a productive resource for us and for everybody here in town as we address all of the concerns moving forward. So are there any questions from the council regarding this particular new SDL portal that we'll be able to utilize to address concerns from, again, everybody here in town, including myself, council members, and the public?
Any questions, councils? Councilmember Charlie to the floor.
Mayor, you planning to blast this out a few times to let residents know?
Absolutely. So this is going to, again, this is literally just launching as of right now. We are going to be sending this out through email blasts. There's also a QR code that has been created that will bring residents or anybody right to this particular page right here that is going to be handed out or, able to be provided to everybody townwide as well. So getting this information out to the public is absolutely something that we are looking to do in various types of ways. So certainly getting this information out townwide is something we are looking to do, again, through various forms.
Do you also want to consider, you just did a demo via video? You want to do that as well? Might be worth it to have it on the website so people know, and then put it on, social media through the blast and everything else.
Yeah, in fact, maybe I may consider even recording instead of taking a snippet from here. Again, this was sort of one of my, I've only done this, one or two other times very quickly. Even after I get a little bit more experience myself utilizing this, maybe what I'll do is I could even record a 1 minute video, sort of, giving an example of how to do this. And we could even blast that out over the website and email blasts to give an example to everybody on how to just do this instead of taking a clip or requiring it to be this whole meeting, to give a demo of how to use this.
Thank you, Mayor.
Are there any other questions from any council members on the new FPL program?
We'll move forward. You have a motion to approve the mayor's appointment of Carol Miller for the library board for a 5-year term.
So moved.
Moved by Council Member Hablitz. Second by Councilman Murphy. This is a roll call to approve Carol Miller to a 5-year term. Mrs. Kraus, call the roll.
Councilmember Patel,
Yes.
Councilmember Murphy,
Yes.
Councilmember Hablitz,
Yes.
Councilmember Vanchery,
Yes.
Council President Scoba.
Yes. Mrs. Miller, I see you're in the audience. If you'd like to come forward, you don't have to. Yes.
Carol Miller, 105 Houston Road. Thank you, Mayor Damio, for appointing me. Just wanted to give a real quick history. I was appointed to the library board in December of 2002 by Mayor Chris Parani to fill an unexpired term. And then I went on, I think this now, we do the math, this is my 6th go around. So I love the library, I love the staff, I love serving Little Falls, and thank you very much. I'm not that old, so I'm gonna continue. So I'm gonna continue to do this as long as I can, and as long as you'll appoint me. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Mrs. Miller. On behalf of the council, we appreciate your dedicated service to the library board. We'll move forward. Can I have a motion to open to the meeting to public and general matters and agenda items.
So moved.
Moved by Councilman Murphy, second by Councilman Vanchery. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed signify by saying nay. Motion carries. Mrs. Kraus, read the statement.
Anyone wishing to address the Township Council may do so through the Council President. It is preferred if you give your name and address for the record. Comments are to be limited to 3 minutes. However, if appropriate, you may be granted additional time in the sole discretion of the Council President. Members of the public who have joined the meeting virtually and desire to provide comment shall raise their virtual hand in the Zoom application. The meeting moderator will cue the members of the public that wish to provide comment, and the Council President will recognize them in order. Members of the public who have joined the meeting by calling in must press *6 to mute and unmute themselves and *9 to raise their hand. Members of the public who have joined the meeting via the Zoom application must click the reactions icon and then the raise hand icon. Once the process is complete, we will return to the regular order of business.
Thank you. The floor is now open.
Ann Kawadi. I'm just here. I wanted to thank the mayor for a couple of things, mostly for supporting the library. Wanted to thank you for the reappointment of Carol Miller, as well as your proclamation last month for the library, National Library Week, and also for your continued support as our mystery guest reader during National Library Week as well. So thank you very much.
Thank you. Mr. Kush, is there anyone in the chat that would like to come before us?
There is not.
Seeing no one else that would like to come before us, have a motion to close the public comment. Moved by Councilman Vanchery, second by Councilwoman Hablitz. All those in favor of closing the public comment do so by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed do so by saying nay. Motion carries. Can I have Mayor, items 1, 2, 3, and 4, please.
Absolutely. Thank you, Council President. Again, I'd like to congratulate Ms. Miller on her reappointment to the library board this year. First and second items on the report this evening are change orders for the downtown streetscape improvements. The first is for section 2 and the second is for section 4. The section 2 change was for a portion of the streetscape where the contractor, when performing the excavation, realized that a portion of the storm water pipes were in a location far behind the actual road and street. And in order for the decorative light pole bases, which are, almost 4 feet deep, to be installed, they actually needed to be relocated further back than were originally anticipated on the plans. And unfortunately, the sidewalk at that point had already been poured. And in order to do so, they had to remove some concrete and relocate where these bases were going to be poured. So it required some additional work. Unfortunately, this is one of those things that, when some of these stormwater pipes and some of these other things were installed, years and years and years ago, some of the imperfections in the markouts just were slightly off, and some of the plans that were received were slightly off. So this was one of those unforeseen issues that we had as work progresses and we actually uncover what's underground. So unfortunately, this was one of those. So this was a slight change order in that portion of the project. Fortunately, it is a very small percentage of a modification compared to the total scope of that entirety of the project there. So that was the section 2 change order for that portion of the modification. As far as section 4, the change order in that section was about a $20,000 change order there. But in speaking to our township engineer, we are actually going to also receive at some point throughout this project a credit of about $12,000 for this portion of the streetscape. This had to do with changing the size of the conduit that was actually being used from a 4-inch to a 2-inch, and from other sections from a 2-inch to a 4-inch. So there was a change in the total amount of pipe and conduit that was used. So while you see this figure at about $20,000 on this particular change order, there will be a credit received in this particular section of the streetscape. So net, I believe it'll be about an $8,000 total cost to the municipality in a change order. There were a bunch of small sections as again work progressed where there were small changes to the entirety of the work. There was also a small section within this portion of the downtown streetscape improvement where there was a tree that had lifted a portion of a sidewalk that was just outside of what was the original scope of the project. And the sidewalk was dangerous, and it was an older tree that was actually dead as the season had changed. We noticed that it was actually a dead tree. So actually removing this tree, planting a new tree in that area, and replacing the sidewalk that was lifted was part of the decision as in this part of the project here, so that it was actually made safe, and a new live tree was is being replaced in its location. So that was another slight cost as part of this portion of this change order here. But it just made sense as work was in that exact area and a contractor was there, rather than paying someone in the future to come and do this work while this contractor was already there. So that is part of this portion of the item number 2 in the section 4 portion of the streetscape. So that was items number 1 and 2. Are there any questions from the council on those?
Council. 3, Mayor.
All right, item number 3. This is a resolution allowing the sale and possession of alcoholic beverages at the Little Falls Farmers Market. A popular thing at a lot of farmers markets is the sale of alcoholic beverages, whether it be beers, whether it be local craft breweries, whether it be some whiskeys, whether it be some things like that, local craft type of drinks, and to allow that to happen here on our local municipal properties, and to ensure that we are not in violation of any local ordinances. I'm asking that this council pass a resolution to ensure that there are no local ordinances that we are in violation of. And item number 3 is the resolution allowing the sale and possession of alcoholic beverages right here on township property at our Little Falls Farmers Market.
Council, any questions regarding three? Councilwoman Hablitz, do you want to add anything to three?
I do not. Actually, yes, I just want to clarify that, the ordinances that we are putting in place today, the permits that come through, I believe do come through the state ABC. So everything that we have had prior has been, to code with the state itself. This is just an extra ordinance regarding the township property, correct?
Council Wenzel.
Yeah, so to piggyback on the councilwoman's comment, there is a special statewide permit that's issued by the state ABC. It's not a local ABC issue license for distilleries, breweries, and vineyards to sell those alcohol beverages at farmers markets, and only to sell it at farmers markets. This does not allow consumption in any way, shape, or form. It is because it's a state permit, the local ABC board cannot overrule them. So once a distillery or brewery or vineyard gets this state ABC permit to sell at a farmer's market, all they have to do is get approval from the farmer's market to be there. So there is nothing that the local government can do to prevent it or add to it. It's already given a statewide permit. The issue for us is that our ordinance allows for the town council in this set of circumstances to pass a resolution to allow the sale of alcohol, not the consumption, on public property, which is your parking lot in the back. So this is why this is a resolution, not an ordinance. This is why it's coming from you, bless you, instead of the ABC board or any other regulation from the state. So it's a state issued license that you are just acknowledging, number one, and number two, saying it can happen on township property.
Thank you.
Thank
you. Mayor, number four.
All right, item number 4 is ordinance number 1459 this evening. And it is for the authorization of $350,000. It includes a variety of things. It includes the replacement of school security equipment for use by our police department. It includes sanitary sewer improvements throughout the municipality, and it includes improvements to our municipal facilities in the municipality as well, at a total of $350,000. That is, again, the three various things in those categories at $100,000 for school security and improvements such as that, $150,000 for sewer improvements, and $100,000 towards municipal facility and property improvements.
So any questions or comments regarding four? Seeing none, we'll move forward. Have a motion to approve resolutions A through D, which includes the bill list. Moved by Councilman Vanchery, second by Councilman Murphy. This is a roll call for resolutions A through D. Mrs. Kraus?
Councilmember Patel,
Yes.
Councilmember Murphy,
Yes.
Councilmember Hablitz,
Yes.
Councilmember Vanchery,
Yes.
Council President Scoba.
Yes, Mrs. Kraus, please read ordinance 1457.
Second reading and public hearing of ordinance number 1457, an ordinance entitled Ordinance of the Township Council of the Township of Little Falls in the County of Passaic, State of New Jersey, amending the Township Code, Chapter 71, fees.
Thank you. It's 1457 is now open. Does anyone wish to speak? Mr. Krusha, anyone in the chat?
No one, sir.
Seeing no one in the audience. The public hearing on ordinance 1457 is now closed. Have a motion to adopt ordinance 1457.
So moved.
Moved by Councilman Vanchery. I'm sorry, Councilman Murphy. I apologize. Second by Councilwoman Hablitz. This is a roll call to approve 1457.
Councilmember Patel,
Yes.
Councilmember Murphy,
Yes.
Councilmember Hablitz,
Yes.
Councilmember Vanchery,
Yes.
Council President Scoba.
Yes, Mrs. Kraus, please read ordinance 1458.
Second reading and public hearing of ordinance number 1458, an ordinance entitled Ordinance of the Township Council of the Township of Little Falls in the County of Passaic, State of New Jersey, amending the Township Code, Chapter 71, fees.
Thank you. The public hearing on ordinance 1458 is now open. Does anyone wish to speak? Mr. Kusia, anyone in the chat?
No one.
Seeing no one in the audience. The public hearing on ordinance 1458 is now closed. Can I have a motion to adopt ordinance 1458? Good motion. Moved by Councilman Vanchery. Second by Councilwoman Patel. This is a roll call to approve 1458. Call the roll.
Councilmember Patel,
Yes.
Councilmember Murphy,
Yes.
Councilmember Hablitz,
Yes.
Councilmember Vanchery,
Yes.
Council President Scoba.
Yes. Mrs. Kraus, read ordinance 1459, please.
Introduction of ordinance number 1459, an ordinance entitled Bond Ordinance to authorize the undertaking of various public improvements and the acquisition of new additional or replacement equipment and machinery in by and for the Township of Little Falls in the County of Passaic, State of New Jersey, to appropriate the sum of $350,000 to pay the cost thereof, to make a down payment, to authorize the issuance of bonds to finance such appropriation, and to provide for the issuance of bond anticipation notes in anticipation of the issuance of such bonds, with a second reading and public hearing scheduled for May 22nd, 2023.
Motion to introduce 1459,
So moved.
moved by Councilwoman Edwards,
Second.
second by Councilman Murphy. This is a roll call to introduce 1459. Please call the roll.
Councilmember Patel,
Yes.
Councilmember Murphy,
Yes.
Councilmember Hablitz,
Yes.
Councilmember Vanchery,
Yes.
Council President Scoba.
Yes. Chief Pro, you have anything for us tonight?
I just got something brief, Council President. I can find it. Just spoke briefly about the You Text, You Pay, You Drive campaign, so I'm happy to report that initiative is completed. We're able to take advantage of 100 additional hours of enforcement throughout the township. No cost to the taxpayer. And I just have some statistics on the grant. So just the grant, so this is just the extras. We conducted 228 motor vehicle stops. 131 summonses were issued. That was 50 for cell phones. Reckless driving summonses, 1, careless driving, 15, 2 drivers with suspended driver's licenses, 3 speeding summons, 4 seatbelt summonses, and 77 other violations. And as a result, 2 arrests. So that's just on the enforcement grant.
Chief, that's very impressive. I know residents, just like if they're having a few drinks, they say, oh, I can make it, I can make it. You know, texting, I think we're in this age where I could do it, right? I could text while I drive. I could get this, I could do this, you know, I could start to text before the light turns, or I could start to text, you know, as I'm waiting traffic. So it's really impressive that your officers have done a good job, because we all know what happens when an individual is texting. It's going to result probably in a motor vehicle accident or possibly a death.
So it's interesting you bring that up because I just had this conversation with my 12-year-old daughter while we were driving. So if you're driving at 60 miles per hour, so that's a typical speed for the highway, and you look off of the road for 1 second, you've traversed 88 feet. So just that 1 second of diversion looking somewhere else other than where you're driving, your vehicle in feet per second has traveled 88 feet. So the longer that you're doing it or preoccupied, it just creates that much danger for you to recognize a potential problem in the roadway. You know, and a crash is very likely at that point.
Thank you, Chief.
Yep.
Thank you for that good report. Councilman Patel, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Council President. The Clifton Health Department is holding an oral cancer screening at the Clifton Health Department on May 16th between 4 and 6:30 p.m. As Little Falls residents are aware, they're more than welcome to attend. The next event in Little Falls is going to be May 22nd. We're having the health fair at the Civic Center. That's going to be between 1 and 3. We're in the process of completing our planning. So if there's any businesses out there, any offices that want to be a part of it, just please email me or call me and I can get that all organized for you. Really quickly, just noteworthy, as of May 11th of this year, according to the U.S. Department of Health, that's the date that the COVID-19 public health emergency ends. So there's a lot of things that we're going to have to keep an eye on. Just a few things for the residents. Some of the support in home and community based that was provided through Medicaid that can only be available if it's through the state now, as of May 11th. So nothing has been said that I'm aware of, but I will keep you updated on that. And in addition to that, as of May 11th, now COVID testing is no longer going to be free all around. It's going to be based on your insurance company. So all those, at-home tests that the Clifton Health Department has been giving away, you might want to get a few of those, stock up, but that's it, Council President. Thank you.
Well, thank you for the public and the council on those issues. Councilman Vanchery.
Thanks, Council President. Just some planning still taking place regarding the upcoming events that I have scheduled later this month for the concert in the park on May 26th. Had a chance last week to speak with members of the Little Falls Police Department as well as our DPW, just to talk about the requests that we'll need for the night of the 26th. And then we shifted gears to talk about the parade, which is the next day. So pulling that all together and, based on the conversation, we're just going to put a plan in place, so that we can, address everything beforehand. And then when both events are taking place, we've got the proper procedures in place. More to come for that. And like I said, if anybody's interested in the two events, it's open to anyone. It doesn't just have to be Little Falls residents when it comes to the concert in the park and the parade. I'm happy to say, we've got a lot of businesses as well as other groups and organizations that are going to participate. So we're looking forward to that as well. It's a reminder to all the members of the council here and the mayor, just make sure they're by 9:45, be ready to walk at 10 o'clock. Then this week too, I just have a transportation meeting with our committee. We're getting together on Wednesday night. We'll be joined by Officer Panola from the Little Falls Police Department, as he typically does at our meetings. And, we'll talk about some different topics that have come up from our members and what we've heard from some other residents. So looking forward to that conversation as well. That's really it for me tonight. Thanks.
Thank you. Councilman Phillips.
Thank you, Council President. So I want to start off with saying it was a great weekend in Little Falls this weekend. We started on Saturday with our first annual bike rodeo, and it was a huge success. It took about a year of planning for myself and our recreation department, Tyler Passaro and Mr. Pace, but we got it off and running. We had approximately 80 riders. They learned about bike safety and got a bike vehicle check, a helmet check, and they also were able to ride in the street vehicle free. So that was a great experience for them. When they came back into the School One parking lot, they finished off with a large obstacle course and getting to meet our community police officers. It really was great, and we're planning on making this a yearly event. So many thank yous. Thank you to the Recreation Department. Like I said, without Tyler and Mr. Pace, my mad scientist thoughts for community events would not even be possible. Thank you to the Little Falls Police Department, Chief, Officer Vanek, Officer Cespedes, Officer Santos, and somebody else was there. And all of the officers. They really did a great job. The kids loved interacting with them. Thank you to our DPW for setting up and cleaning up. And thank you to the Little Falls EMS. They really did a great job just being there, introducing themselves to the kids and being there in case there was any safety issues. Thank you to the crossing guards and the Little Falls CERT department. They were there helping with the road closures and helping cross the children, and that was really great. And thank you to all of our sponsors. We had the Loose Wheel, who is a local resident and business owner in Cedar Grove, who was there doing the bike checks. Mainline Pizza, thank you to Dominic for donating pizzas for us. The Friends of the Library, thank you. They were there getting membership, and they also had a bike giveaway that one of our residents was able to win a bike. So that was great. Thank you to Sempre Avante. I know I'm probably saying that wrong. And AAA, they're also sponsors of ours. They helped, the Sempre Avante helped to sponsor our bags. Thank you to Passaic County for being there and representing for Bike Passaic County, telling our residents all about some bike trails that are coming to Little Falls and the rest of Passaic County. Thank you to two of our residents, Pat Palmieri and Carl Zing, excuse me, for helping with the sponsors. I see you guys are both on Zoom. Thank you so much. You were really a big help in getting the sponsors, telling me all about the bike community, getting people to attend, because you're both avid bikers with your families. So thank you so much. I really appreciate your help, guys. And lastly, really, thank you to all the residents. They seem to have a great time. Thanks for participating and hope they come out again next year. Just a couple of more updates. Congratulations to Carol Miller on her reappointment. She really is an integral part of our Board of Trustees, and we really do appreciate her. Some other library updates. The library this Wednesday will have a Writers Cafe. It's at 7 p.m. and no registration is required, and it's for writers of all abilities. They're all welcome. This Friday, there will be yoga for kids at 10:15 a.m. Register at the library website. And for the adults, a special treat for Mother's Day, a Mommy Dearest Mother's Day, the private home movies of Joan Crawford by her grandson, Casey LaLondon. You can register at the website for that event. And lastly, we're just 2 weeks away from the farmer's market. We're starting our farm market with over 20 vendors. If you do not follow the market social media page, please follow at Little Falls Farmers Market NJ. And every Friday at 4 p.m., our market manager, Michelle, is doing Facebook Live interviews with our vendors and special guests. So stay tuned for that. Thank you. Sorry so long.
Not at all. And they're not mad. Not at all, Councilman.
I beat Councilman
You
Vince.
guys
that's
that's
well.
tonight, right?
Yeah.
No,
Years.
And then-
Dear it.
not, and not,
No more wire hangers.
okay, order. And they're not mad scientist ideas. They're great ideas that you come forward. But just today, I requested from the mayor that he asked the planner to look into bike lanes in our community in the master plan to see if that's a viable resource. So the bike rodeo sparked that interest to see some communities do have bike lanes. Is that possible here in Little Falls for our bikers? And I think he took that up, and we'll see if he could move, the planner can move on that and see what comes out of that.
Great, thank you.
Councilman Murphy, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Council President. So just a reminder, tonight, we had the second reading for ordinance 1458, which is for our town calendar for 2024. And the reason I just want to highlight this again is because over the weekend, I had the opportunity to speak with Mr. Pace, and he had let me know that he's already receiving some calls from businesses interested in advertising in this. So the reason I want to bring this up is if you're interested in this, definitely reach out to John Pace. We want to make sure you have the ability to get in there. I know it's probably limited on what we can put in there. So if you want to be in this calendar, definitely reach out to him. This way we can get you in there. Last week, we had our Domestic Violence Prevention Committee meeting. And I know a few weeks ago, I brought up that we were looking to do some fundraisers this year. So the committee went out and did some research, and we decided that our first fundraiser is going to be a trivia night. So we decided that last meeting. So hopefully by next month, we're going to have a location. We reached out to some local restaurants. So we're going to see who's willing to host us. We should have a location, a date, and a time that we're looking to do this fundraiser for a trivia night. So definitely keep an eye out for that. We will also be sending out some monthly email blast with a statistic of the month. And also in that email blast is going to be some upcoming events that the Domestic Violence Prevention Committee is going to be at. So the reason we wanted to put this out there is just in case anybody wants to speak with us, they want to learn a little bit more about the committee, they want to reach out to us for some resources. You'll now be able to see which events that our tent and our booth will be at. This way you could put that on your calendars and come see us, speak with us, and learn a little bit more about us. So that's all I have, Council President. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilman Murphy. But circling back to the calendar, is that only, did we decide that that's only open to Little Falls businesses?
Right. So yeah, when we left off, we decided that we're just going to open up for Little Falls businesses. Should we feel that there was a shortage in advertisements, I think we said maybe we would open up to the 3 towns then. But I think right now, and from talking to John Pace, we should be able to fill this up with businesses just from Little Falls.
Great, thank you. Senior Advisory Ice Cream Social is coming up in June sometime. We don't have a date yet. We should have one pretty shortly. It'll be an afternoon event, probably 1 to 3. We'll have definitely Chief Pearl's crew there, as well as the council mayor. As soon as that date gets firmed up, I'll bring it forward. Have a motion to open the meeting to the public for agenda items only. Moved by Councilman Vanchery,
Second.
second by Councilwoman Havelitz. This is a voice vote. All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion carries. Mrs. Kraus.
Anyone wishing to address the Township Council may do so through the council president. It is preferred if you give your name and address for the record. Comments are to be limited to 3 minutes. However, if appropriate, you may be granted additional time in the sole discretion of the council president. Members of the public who have joined the meeting virtually and desire to provide comment shall raise their virtual hand in the Zoom application. The meeting moderator will cue the members of the public that wish to provide comment, and the council president will recognize them in order. Members of the public who have joined the meeting by calling in must press *6 to mute and unmute themselves and *9 to raise their hand. Members of the public who have joined the meeting via the Zoom application must click the reactions icon and then the raise hand icon. Once the process is complete, we will return to the regular order of business.
Floor is now open. Mr. Kusia,
One, sir.
no one in our audience. Have a motion to close the public. So moved by Councilman Vanchery,
Second.
second by Councilman Murphy. All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? That motion carries. Before I close the meeting, I just want to thank Mrs. Kraus. Thank you for working with me throughout this meeting. I know this was a little bit of a difficult one. I thank you for your patience and your time. Can I have a motion to adjourn this meeting?
So moved.
Moved by Councilman Murphy, second by Councilman Vanchery. All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? Meeting now closed.